you're traveling around the, you're a history buff, you hear about East St. Louis and you be like, yo, what a black township. What you talking about, man? And what I love about East St. Louis is that the people in East Boogie are very, very, very resilient, very strong. They have style, they have class, they have grace, excel well, not just in sports, but academically too. The first people I met from East St. Louis, I met them on collegiate academic scholarships at universities around the country. Okay? So Miss Charmaine Savage came home after her, world tour around the world, and she basically lived by the idea that what she gained from herself coming out of East St. Louis. She came back and she calls her magazine "I Am East St. Louis." Now, how many of you have heard of this magazine, "I Am East St. Louis"? Okay, so on January 14th of this year, Sister Charmaine, succumbed to this life and entered into the afterlife. And this is a tremendous loss to us because the work that she was doing is worthy of being saluted. She was taking a hold of the pride and power of East St. Louis in the form of a magazine. And they have an event coming up soon. And Brother Lorenzo, I want you to come up. And on behalf of the Black History Month, committee, I want to give you this certificate of appreciation, brother. And I just want to give you my love and support, King. I know what you're going through, man. I'm a widower myself, and I want you to know that, man. It's a total love and respect for you, please accept this award, man. And, please use this time to just share with people just a moment with the event you have coming up, and just the love you have for sister. And I just want to honor your family, man. Keep that thing going, man.
Yes, appreciate it, man. Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here today, and like I said, I was running late, and I apologize, but I'm glad God brought me here today. Charmaine Savage is my wife of 29 years. My name is Lorenzo Savage, and I am East St. Louis. I like to say that before I start because, there's a story that comes behind, oh, you got out of East St. Louis, how did you do that, And I let them know, we had good teachers, we had good educators who encouraged us to go to college and excel. And again, like the brother said, we excel in sports, but academia, we have doctors, lawyers, all these people, CEOs of companies. And myself, I graduated from Hampton University with an architecture degree. My wife, Charmaine, graduated from McKendree College in 1989, her degree in business administration. And then she didn't know what she wanted to do with her life. So she said, somebody told her, why don't you try the Navy? Even though she couldn't swim. She did it anyway. And during this time, we went to high school together. We didn't go together, but we went a lot of classes together and were great friends. And of course, I tried to date her then, but it didn't work out. But we eventually got reacquainted after in her senior year of college. And she told me she was going to the Navy. I was like, well, okay. I said, well, I guess I'm gonna go with you then. I was working over here in St. Louis at Westinghouse and going to school part-time. So we got married in '89 and moved to Virginia Beach. And first she was commissioned as an officer in the Navy. But the good thing is we were able to, go to different places around the country. She was a human resources officer. We spent 10 years in Virginia, the first 10 years there. We got 2 kids, they're 29 and 31 now. Got to meet a lot of different people from all over. And we felt like we were ambassadors of the city of East St. Louis, and we were held to a higher standard. And I know St. Louis has that same same reputation, but like I said, if you make it out of East St. Louis, you can make it anywhere. That's like New York says too. After 21 years in the military, Charmaine retired. During this time, she had always been battling breast cancer, and the first occurrence happened in 1994, I believe. And so we moved back home in 2007. After reoccurrence came back, and the year before she retired, she went to Iraq. It was like she was getting ready to retire after 19, 21 years of service, and they needed somebody to volunteer to go to Iraq, and she stepped up to the plate, and this is why she was battling cancer as well. While she was there, she worked with the Navy SEALs, attached to that team. So she came back from Iraq, retired from the military, and then we moved back home here and was gonna start her retirement career. But then Admiral Winters, who she worked with in the military, gave her a call and was like, hey, you know, we need a good HR officer here in San Diego. And so, you know, he offered her a job as a government employee. And she was hesitant about it, and I was like, you know, if Admiral offers you a job, you know, when the next time you're gonna get this opportunity? So I say, hey, go ahead and take it. If a year you don't like it, hey, we come back home. It's not a big deal. I wanted her to experience everything that she can. And I would tell any man who's married to a woman, again, that's your strength. You know, like you were saying, I'm adjusting to the difference now. Like you said, I used to just put my check in the bank and I didn't have to worry about anything. You know, she balanced the checkbook, did everything, and I'm not ashamed to say that. And I miss her for that, as well as other things. But she went back to work for the government for a couple of years as a GS-14, one of the highest ranking government workers. Created a new program that was used Navy-wide now for tracking service time away. And then breast cancer came back, and she decided to retire again, and that's when we moved back home in 2014. And during that time, you know, she was trying to figure out what she wanted to do. She used to always tell me, well, you're an architect, you love what you do, you know, that's something I want to figure out what I want to do with my life. And I was like, you're gonna do it, you're gonna find something. And all along, we always said that, you know, anybody that would tell you, we told them we're coming back home, we're gonna do something positive for our community and the youth there. So fortunately, you know, or unfortunately, a writer, a CNN reporter claimed to be from East St. Louis, said that East St. Louis is like, you know, walking the streets of Iraq or something, you know. And my wife was like, hold up, you know, I was in Iraq. And they had tanks and bombs and things like that they have to go through every day. So we felt like that was the overstatement there. And that became the genesis of explaining exactly what East St. Louis is. And we started that magazine, and she started in 2015. It officially came out in January 2016. And yeah, the first cover had the mayor of East St. Louis on it. We had Senator Dick Durbin, senator from Illinois, grew up in East St. Louis. And the thing I like that people say all the time is like, I didn't know that person's from East St. Louis. You know, and it's like, yes, you know, when you look at the size of the city, the number of PhDs that we have far exceeds a lot of other communities. Not just PhDs, but I mean, we spotlight the everyday person in the city that's doing good, as Valerie Young here knows, a good friend of ours. And, you know, I'm just so thankful that Charmaine was able to latch on to this, you know, this moment and this drive, you know. I mean, that's what I like to tell people. If you don't know what you want to do, find a cause, you know. Whatever you do, hopefully it's a cause or something that, you know, in any business that you're doing something to raise the expectations of someone to come behind me. And I'm just so happy that she was able to find us in her last 4.5 years on this planet. After 22 years of, you know, military service and retiring as commander, she's more proud of what we did here with the magazine and the foundation we have. So we had a dinner last December. We have an annual dinner that you all are invited to. Just to let you know we're going to keep it moving. You know, her cause is my cause. You know, everything we did together. You know, so I'm going to continue as the executive director of I Am East St. Louis, the foundation, and we have a function coming up April 12th, which is the day before her birthday, at the Catherine Dunham Center in East St. Louis for the magazine release party. And if you go to imestl.com, you can see all of the back issues of the magazine. You can see her story. If you go and like us on Facebook, you'll see that I started sharing some of the new issue that's coming out. Charmaine's on the cover, it's the first time. And we really appreciate your support, and I look forward to seeing you all again in the future. Thanks again.